going to go ahead and get started with our demo of QuickBooks Online Advanced. There's some pretty cool stuff in here. First of all, I just want to start out navigationally. So down the side here, you can come in and hit New, and you can do new transactions. We can set up new vendors, transactions, employees. So then, inventory adjustments, batch transactions. So anyway, there is a quick new up here, so I can get to transactions. Now, I'm logged in as the admin, so I can see a lot of other things than what you would see also as an individual user. Also, under the settings up top here, you can go into your lists, right? So I can go into products, I can go into my chart of accounts, custom fields, right? And also some of the functions, maybe like Reconcile My Bank, create budgets, manage workflows, which are some approval processes that we have built in. So there's two main areas where navigationally you can get quickly to where you're trying to get to. Now down the side, they also have similar things. So if I'm looking at sales as an example, I can get to my invoices, I can get to my customer list, I can get to my products list from there. So as always with QuickBooks, there's going to be multiple different ways to get to the same end goal. It's kind of like, what are you trying to achieve? What are you trying to, what are you trying to do? And then we can look at what's the best workflow for you, okay? But it helps to have those multiple different areas so that you don't get lost. It's always nice. So we're looking at here, we're just looking at business overview dashboard. They have some cash flow example information in here. You have some accounts down the side here, bank accounts. Then you also have, right, profit and loss last 30 days, expenses. So just some quick information that you have here. There's also some salesy things which you can expect, right? So I am eligible for up to $100,000 in borrowing power if I wanted to go to Intuit for borrowing against my AR. We are also eligible for possibly using QuickBooks Checking. So you'll see some little snippets of advertising throughout, but it's always good information, I say, right? Because even if you're never planning on borrowing from Intuit, it's nice to have this so that when you do talk to your bank, you say, well, wait a second, QuickBooks is offering me $100,000, so it's just competitive. It helps you be a little competitive sometimes. That's why I say to use it. If you don't want to see these things, you can always hit hide. Okay. All right. The other thing that I like up here, so this is on the dashboard, right, is to get things done. So this is basically our screen to tell us our workflow, right? So money in, we have products and services we could add, we can manage customers, create estimates, send invoices, receive payments. Down in the money out, we can enter bills in the system, we can track time, do payroll. So it's just like a little dashboard to help us with workflows in a very simplistic way. Money in, money out. I wish it was that easy in business. All right. So sales workflow-wise, we're going to go ahead and start there. I'm going to start with an estimate, okay? Because you do not have to start with an estimate inside of QuickBooks Online Advanced. You can go straight to invoices if you wanted to. You can even actually jump ahead and just bill customers. There are some things where you can just go in and bill them for the services and not have it hit your accounts receivable at all. Okay, so there's an even faster way to enter transactions if we really wanted to. But I'm going to start with an estimate because I want to talk about best case scenario workflow. And for us, estimates would be that. So an estimate inside of QuickBooks is a non-posting transaction. It means it's not going to affect your P&L. It's not going to affect anything like that. But what you can do by using estimates is you can get to some reporting, right? So once I have this shown up on my screen, and this is going to be very similar for a lot of transactions inside of QuickBooks, a couple things that we have. So we have this little button up top here so I can see recent estimates that I have created and jump to them if I need to. I have the settings button here, right? And it will show you any kind of settings that you can change on this dashboard, right, or on this transaction, on whatever you have open on your screen. If I scroll down to the bottom here of my screen, I don't have to scroll down, like actually scroll down, but if I move my cursor down to the bottom of my screen down here, I have print preview. I have make reoccurring. So if I wanted, it doesn't really make sense in estimates, but if this were a bill as an example and I needed it to post automatically every month, it would show that. I do have the customize button, so I can come in and create a new style for my estimate, which is saying maybe like, what do I want to show? What content do I want to show on the screen here? So I can edit this area. I want to include products and services. I want to include the description, include quantity and rate in the description instead of a separate field. So there's just some different options that you can have there. Also down below, you'll sometimes see a section called More, and you'll see that once I save the transaction. And then it'll do things like show you your transaction journal, show your audit trail, all sorts of things like that, okay? So let's just start to fill this in. So first of all, we're going to choose a customer. From here, I can add a new customer. I can also choose an existing customer. We're going to go ahead and say add new and add the details, because there are a lot of details that you can add for a new customer in here. First name, middle name, last name. Most of our clients don't use that, honestly, unless they're working with residential customers or something like that. But I could come in here and hit an ABC company. That's our customer name. I can change the display as name if I needed to for any reason. So maybe they have a company name, but they go under a different DBA. I can print on check using the display name or the company name, depending on what you want to have there, right? Come down below, I have the bill to address, city, state, zip, country, ship address, and you can choose if it's the same as billing. I can have any notes on the customer, so maybe we keep notes, things like, Billy is retiring in June, new contact is Sarah, whatever you want to keep track of notes in there. You can keep track of their tax information. So the customer is tax exempt, and then their exemption reasons or what tax rate they are assigned. Any payment and billing information you can keep track of in here. So what's their preferred payment method? So it defaults. What's their preferred delivery method? Do they want things printed or sent? What are their terms? They have this opening balance as of, please never put anything in there. I wish we could get rid of it off the screen, but anyway, so it's there. What language do they want things sent to you in or sent in? So you can have multiple languages. So it'll just take whatever's on our screen, and when it's sent to them, it'll flip it to French as an example. If we have any attachments tied to the customer, so like if they are tax exempt, maybe we're going to attach their exemption certificate in here. That could be something. Or maybe we attach their contracts in here. If we have any custom fields set up for the customers in here, we would have that. So you can add custom fields, which is usually set up in the design phase, right? So globally, we'll decide what custom fields we need to track per customer. And then if there's a certain customer type, so this is a really great way for us to be able to kind of filter down information, is see those customer types. I skipped over here. You can add email, phone numbers, blah, blah, blah. We can also have a sub-customer. So this is a sub-customer of something else, right? And then you could choose to bill with the customer or bill with the parent. So you would do this maybe if you are working with a general contractor, and then that general contractor has you working on a particular job or a particular subdivision or something like that. So you'd set them up as a sub-customer under the header customer. Okay. Now the other thing that we have in here besides customers is we also have the idea of projects. So I'm going to go ahead and take and open up a second tab so you guys can see projects in here. Projects they reside on the same list. Let me exit out of this. They reside on the same list as your customers list, but you do have to set them up separately. So I would have to come in here and create a new project, put in the project name and who the customer is for. So let's say, kitchen remodel. I always get so generic in here. So then the customer is Aaron. All right, and then you can start in date, all these things. We'll talk, projects a little bit later, but you do have to set up projects in a different area in order for them to show up here. So let me go ahead and refresh on the estimate. We haven't done anything, so it shouldn't matter. And then I'll be able to see that kitchen remodel project. But you can't set that up from the Add New screen. Okay, so I know a lot of people talk about projects when they're looking at QBO, and we'll help you decide. Part of the services that Fourlane offers is what's called design, and we'll help you decide, should I use jobs or sub-customers, or should I use projects? What is best for me? All right, so I'm just going to choose something in here so we can go ahead. So default fills in their email address. You can have a BCC or a CC if you want to. We'll use that for things like if you want to email. So I am Johnny and I am a sales rep. I want to BCC my project manager, and I want to also BCC accounting as an example. So you could add in additionals in there. We can choose to send transactions later if we wanted to, so mass them at the end of the day. The estimate does have a status, so we can choose, is it pending, accepted, closed, rejected. It's great for us just to track. I mean, it's a manual thing to change that along, right? So coming in here, we have estimate date, the expiration date, so just a whole bunch of fields if we wanted to track them. There are things inside of QuickBooks Online Advanced where you can track by location. Location is going to sit at the header. It's just a way to splice our data, so we'll help you to decide how to use these. But you'll see these throughout QuickBooks Online Advanced, location field, as well as the class field, which is more line item level. And then we also have this concept called tags. Again, it's just a way to splice data. So people get a little confused between custom fields and tags and locations, like when should I set these up, where? And that's where we come in handy. It's all about reporting, right? What I want everyone to take away from today is that the fact that you can put the details in here means that we can get to some of those reports that we're needing to. So tags are more internal. Custom fields you can show on the transactions, locations, and class are a little bit different because there's budget things around them. So anyway, we'll help you to decide. Coming down here, so I can put in a service date if I want to. I can add a service. I'm going to add a new product from this screen. Now, normally you wouldn't be adding new product probably when you're going through this because they would already exist. But I just want to show you what it looks like. So we're adding a service item. This is going to be called remodeling work. Very generic. I can have a SKU if I want to. I can put in a picture. They don't show up on the transaction here, but I can put in a picture just in case we needed to know what it looks like. They can be added to a certain category, right? So it's basically like a header item similar to customer and then sub job. This can be a category and then it's a sub under that area. I can default to a specific class if I want to. And so what that will do is anytime this product shows up on a transaction, it'll default to that class. Also a great way, right? If anything that we can make it where people who are doing data entry for us don't have to think, that's great. So as much as possible, we want to put default things in here. It says I sell this product to my customers. What's our standard? All of these things are just going to be a default on the transaction, right? So what is my sales price? $150. Oops, $150 an hour. It's going to hit which revenue account, services revenue. Is it eligible for sales tax? We can talk about that. Also, maybe I subcontract this out sometimes. So what is my, I don't really like putting the same words in multiple boxes, but I just want to fill this in for now. Do I subcontract it out? When I subcontract it out, what is my standard price? Which expense account would it hit when it shows up on a bill? So if this really were something that I subcontract out, it should probably be a cost of goods sold, right? And then who's our preferred vendor? So when I add this to a purchase order, who do I want to default to? And I would show you how to set up a vendor. It's very similar to a customer, so it doesn't really matter that much. Right? You guys get the gist. Say save and close. So I have my items set up in here. Okay, so I can come in and say quantity, 25, $150 an hour, $37.50. I didn't have a default class, but because I don't really have a good class in there, but I'll add that now. All right, and then coming down below, so I could add additional lines if I wanted to. If I needed to add more lines, you just hit that plus, right? And it'll add those lines. If I wanted to remove a line, I hit the trash bin, so it's very user-friendly. Coming down below, I can add in a message that will be displayed on the estimate. I can also add in a message that would only be displayed on the statement. So that would be if it converts to an invoice and we send a statement out to the customer, then we would see that. Over on this side, I can do a discount based on a percent or a value. So let's say we were giving them a 5% discount. Whoops. Okay. Oh, then do 0.5. 5.0. There we go. You can have sales tax again if we needed to. I can add in shipping costs if I wanted to. All these are settings. So if you don't do discounts, if you don't have shipping, we can attach a document through here. So again, if they sent over an RFQ or something like that, we could attach the documents right in there. And then I can go ahead and say save. So now my estimate's in the system. Terrific. I can go through and change out my status, accepted, closed, rejected. This is our normal workflow from here. Now, what can I do from this transaction? I can copy this to a purchase order. So let's say we were going to change this out and subcontract this work out. I can go ahead and create a purchase order from here. I can also create an invoice from here. Okay, so from the transaction itself. And how do we get back there? So I come into my sales, right? And I have, my overview of sales transaction. Maybe. Doesn't want to move away from this screen for some reason. Awesome. I love it during demos when it's so nice to me. All right. So we have all sales in the system. I can narrow down my sales and say, just let me look at my estimates. Here's that estimate that we just created in here. It's pending. I can click on it and open it up and change things as we were just doing. Oh, well, while I'm in there. Now notice that now once I've saved this transaction, see I have this more option here, okay? Now I can click on more, I can copy it. If the customer says, hey, I want to know exactly this, but I want to add this and this, take a copy of it. I can delete it from here. Hopefully we're not having to do that. And I can look at the audit history as well, right? So who changed what when, basically, on this transaction, which is great. Okay, coming back into my all sales. A couple things from here. So I have the option of what are my options. I can print it. I can send it. I can update the status, move it from pending to accepted, accepted by, and the date. Accepted by Joan over there, and today, I'd hit T for today, today's date. And then I can also create the invoice from the screen. So they don't have to pop down to create the PO from the screen, but I can create the invoice from the screen. So let's finish out our sales workflow. So from here, it says how much do you want to invoice, and I can say remaining of all lines, 50% of each line, or a custom amount per, and then say create the invoice. Okay, so I can come in here. Now it tells me how much I have before, right? So it's showing me the amount or the percentage. I've billed 0 of 37.50 so far. So I want to bill 85%. Let's just say, 85%. So it kind of backs into that number for us. It looks kind of yucky because 85%. This is going to round, and how much is it really? Anyway, so it kind of backs into the number. And then I can say save. Okay. Once I have the invoice created, so you can see in here very similar fields. You just see things a little bit differently. So you can choose to accept payment by credit card or ACH transfer. So this customer has those things turned on. This is awesome because basically right when I send this out to the customer, they can put their credit card information in or their ACH information in for me. I do not have to do the data entry. and it will sync back in and tell me that they paid. It will receive a payment against the invoice. Again, I don't have to do the data entry. So if you're not using these features and you're taking credit cards or ACH payments, definitely something we need to talk about. Anytime you can get your customers to do data entry for you, we want to make that happen. Some of the things that you can see in here, so I can create a recurring invoice right from here. I can add late fees if I needed to, but all the information flows across. At this point, it is a posted transaction. So when I come down to more and I look at my transaction journal, I'll be able to see what are the debits and credits happening behind the scenes. Okay, and that's on all posting transactions. You'll see that more and be able to see debits and credits. So up here, I'm going to see different things, right? Because now I'm on an invoice, so now I can receive a payment. Okay, so I receive a payment in here. How much am I receiving? I can say save and new. Okay, the payment method, I could do all the things. Pretty straightforward around those. So the sales process is very easy. There are some things in there, as I mentioned before, where you can go in and just charge the customer. You don't have to create the estimate if you don't want to. You can do prepayments where you just send the link to the customer and they give you $500 up front for things. So there's a lot of options when it comes to sales workflows that we can work with you on. That's where the customization per customer would come in play. On the purchasing side of things, so let's go in and create a purchase order for this item. So I'm going to take from my estimate and create a purchase order. Now, again, you don't have to do it from an estimate. You can just go in and create a purchase order. You can bypass purchase orders entirely and just create a bill. You can just enter an expense, just enter a check. You don't have to do all these workflows, but the more you put into it, right, the more steps we build into it, most likely the more we're going to grow, because hopefully there's multiple people doing those steps. But each of those steps are going to give us information that we can track in the system and not have to track outside the system, meaning in Excel or somewhere else, Google Maps or Gmail or wherever else we're tracking all the things. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a vendor. Now notice that I do have to come in here and choose the vendor, even though I had put in preferred vendor. It does pick up what was the product or service, right? What was the quantity and what was the rate, picks up the class that I needed to, and then I would have to add in here who the customer job was because I didn't have a project on there, so I didn't pick that up, but you can see that here. Purchase order is a non-posting transaction. I'm not going to go through all the fields because we've seen them before. I go ahead and say save. So now that PO was saved. One of the things that I can do is I can now copy to the bill. So then it fills in the bill for me. Everything moves across. On the bill, notice it says it was linked to the PO. If I need to go back and open up that PO, I can. But everything moves across here, and I can say save. Okay. And then some of the things that we can do, we can schedule for online payments. So this is using services like Melio, but it's built in product. It allows us to pay by credit card or pay by ACH. And if you pay by ACH or debit card, it's free. If you pay by credit card, it's 2.9%, which is, if we're using Venmo or any of those other services, that's just slightly under their rates. PayPal, all those others. And then we can go ahead and make a payment against this bill. So workflow-wise, they can all be connected. Okay. So I'm going to go click on the expenses side just so that you guys can see this. Right, so you have bills, purchase orders throughout here. Same thing, I can create a new transaction, a new bill. I can create a new expense, so that's right. It's basically like writing a check. I just am putting an expense straight into the register. Vendor credits, all that fun stuff. Yeah. All right, so that's workflow of purchasing. We do have the ability to track time in the system. Most of our clients are using QuickBooks Time, but you can have people put time cards directly in the system here. So you can come in and add time. This time will flow through to payroll if we're needing to do payroll. So Tim Smith is adding time. You can say, on each days, what did they do? You can add some details. What customer were they working on? What services were they providing? So there's quite a bit of information you can flow in there around time cards. From the accounting standpoint, right, one of the things that we'll want to do periodically is reconcile. So you can have your chart of accounts. You can reconcile pretty much every balance sheet account that you have in the system, and you definitely would want to do that for some of these other accounts, right? Like perhaps you have a prepaid expense account. Now, we don't get a statement for those, but we would want to reconcile those to zero. So I show I paid $12,000 for my annual errors and omissions insurance in January, and then I want to show that I amortized $1,000 per month for the next 12 months. And then at the end of those 12 months, I can reconcile those 12 $1,000 transactions against the one $12,000 transaction, reconcile it to zero, get it out of my reconciliation window. So that's a possibility. And then, of course, we have our bank accounts, which we can come in here and reconcile as well. All right, so you can connect your banks to QuickBooks. It is up to the bank. So if you go in there and you look, you say, hey, where's my bank? Why isn't it showing in here that I can connect it to QuickBooks? QuickBooks is used by an insane amount of companies, like between desktop and online, it's used by 12 million companies or something like that, I think I've heard. And so they say, hey, Mr. Bank, here's how to connect to us. You figure it out. So if you don't see your bank on the list, you got to talk to your bank about it. It's not a QuickBooks thing, it's a bank thing. But we come in here, we say, okay, what is our beginning balance? That beginning balance should tie out to our bank statement. If we were reconciling a prepaid account, which wouldn't have a statement, we would always be beginning balance 0, ending balance 0. For the checking account, I'm going to say ending balance is $12,500. Wouldn't it be nice if it was exactly on like that? No pennies, anything. What is the statement ending date? You can add service charges in here or interest earned in here if you wanted to. And then we go ahead and start reconciling. So it's pretty simple. What you want to do is you just want to check, give me all the things. Check off the things, right, that are being reconciled. So that we mark this off as reconciled. We have one deposit. I don't have very many transactions in here. And it's going to show me up top the difference. So I say I have the ending balance is $12,500. This is how much is cleared. Beginning balance with no payments plus one deposit. I'm off by 9222.06. So I have to go out and figure out where's that deposit? What wasn't entered in the system? And then come back for later, okay? So it'll allow you to do those reconciliations. And then the point of all this is that obviously we want to get to our reporting. So why do we do any of these things inside of QuickBooks? Is so that we can get to our reporting. So there are a ton of different reporting options inside of QuickBooks Online. So I could go through each of these reports. There is you can connect to Fathom. So QuickBooks Online Advanced does get the connection to Fathom. It's like a reporting dashboard that allows you to report across multiple company files. It's just a normal BI tool, right? It's external. But all the data gets pulled into the external database so you can report against it. So that's one option. We do have some custom report builder options inside of QuickBooks Online. When we're going with our customers through this, we always want to try to use what's in product first, right? And then we go to Fathom. Doesn't cost extra money for QuickBooks Online Advanced customers, but if we can use what's right here and it just is a memorized report, I'd much rather do it right here than taking this outside. You can have some favorited reports here. So just looking at some of our standard reports, right? Budget versus actual, balance sheet summary reports, profit and loss by customer, by class, by location, by tag. We talked about those a little bit earlier. So just some of our standard reports that are in here. Each of these reports can be modified to some extent. It is a report writer built in product, so there's going to be some limitations to how much you can modify. But as an example, I have a profit and loss report. I can say for this year to date, I want to display columns by month. I'm in January, so it's not very exciting. Maybe I want to display by location, by class, right? So you can see the tag. These things are tags that I have set up in here. You can see that I would be able to add some of that in compared to a previous period, right? So there is flexibility in what you can do. The other thing that you can do is they have additional customization, which will pop up over here to provide some filters maybe, right? So filter by only certain customers, by only certain classes. So again, there's some modification in product. Once we have it, we can save it, save the report as. You can export it to Excel. You can export it to Google Sheets. You can send it out. You can have it automatically sent out periodically. So it's just a lot of really powerful tools that you can do in here with QuickBooks Online Advanced. Okay, so that is just a high-level overview. So again, if we come into our dashboard here, we look at what are the things that we can do, right? Pay bills, enter checks, reconcile. So hopefully you guys got some key takeaways from this, and that's it for our demo today. Thanks so much.